While waiting to see what Ferrari will look like after the summer break, attention is obviously always focused on the 2025 Formula One season, when what was described by the media as the deal of the century will materialize, with Lewis Hamilton saying goodbye to Mercedes at the end of the current championship after 11 years of great successes to fulfill the dream of a career and try to establish himself as the greatest driver of all time by winning the 8th title with Scuderia Ferrari. A few days ago, John Elkann, president of Stellantis Ferrari, the Agnelli Foundation, and chief executive officer of Vasseur, visited the headquarters of the Italian athletes who are currently taking part in the ongoing Olympics competition under the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. The manager of the Agnelli Dynasty, during the presentation of the initiative carried out alongside the Italian National Olympic Committee, also spoke about Scuderia Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton. It is no secret that the upcoming arrival of the 7-time Formula One world champion in Maranello was strongly desired by the president of the Prancing Horse himself, after years of negotiations and discussions. The signing of the living legend of Formula One clearly and obviously demonstrates how the top management of the Maranello team intends to bring the Italian side back to the role it deserves. Nevertheless, we should not forget the fact that many champions of the recent past have worn the uniform of the historic Italian team without being able to win the Formula One world title. The difference, essentially, between F1 and other sports is that the added value of the driver is not enough to achieve success. And at this point, it's worth remembering that rumors are intensifying about the imminent announcement of Adrian Newey to Aston Martin. A piece of important news that we also reported a few days ago, which unfortunately represents a clear defeat for the Prancing Horse. As publicly and repeatedly stated by team principal Frédéric Vasseur during the last few months, Lewis Hamilton's signing, beyond his on-track performance, was supposed to serve as a draw for British technicians, who are often reluctant to leave their comfort zone. An area where almost all F1 teams are located within a few kilometers of each other. Despite the regret of never having collaborated with Lewis Hamilton, the brilliant English designer will find comfort in interacting with another veteran of the category, the two-time world champion Fernando Alonso. President John Elkann explained that Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari had found each other, with the British driver coming to the Maranello team with the clear goal of winning and making Ferrari stronger in anticipating future challenges. The Italian industrialist described Lewis Hamilton as a great athlete, comparing him to top athletes as Roger Federer, Cristiano Ronaldo, or Lionel Messi, and pointing out that he is highly motivated to become an 8-time world champion, as evidenced by his recent races. The Ferrari president emphasized that the current Mercedes driver was not joining the team to enjoy retirement, but to continue competing at the highest level. John Elkann acknowledged the mutual motivation between Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari, but noted that good intentions needed to be supported by solid realities. By mid-2024, the Italian team, which had nurtured championship dreams until the triumphant Monaco Grand Prix, seemed to have little left to strive for. This is a scenario that has been repeating itself cyclically for several years, but the 2024 Formula One Championship represents a huge disappointment, given that there is no longer a clearly dominant team, unlike the past 2 years. The final part of the current championship will be very important, taking into consideration the fact that the 2025 cars will not undergo significant developments next year. Yet another technical revolution will once again change the face of the cars starting in 2026, which means that from next January, all teams will allocate most of their resources to the design and development of future Formula One cars. Therefore, being competitive until the end of this season is a sort of insurance for the future competitiveness of the 677 project. Despite the fact that John Elkann is not a Formula One expert, he has understood that performance convergence among the top teams has finally begun, as the Ferrari president pointed out that this year in F1, there is real competition. There are 4 teams very close to each other, and this makes everything much more interesting. Red Bull started well, then Ferrari, McLaren, and now Mercedes. It's finally an open championship with great drivers. What matters is performing at the maximum of one's potential, John Elkann believes. According to the Ferrari president, those with more experience, like Lewis Hamilton or Fernando Alonso, tend to have greater consistency, and this can make the difference. All true, except that the Prancing Horse, which should and could have been in the fight at least for the Constructors' title this season, a goal indicated at the start of the year by the team principal of the Maranello team, is notably absent. Probably, as the president of Ferrari says, consistency in championships like this year's will be a crucial factor for ultimate success. However, it's not guaranteed that the next championship will necessarily offer the same level of balance, which favors experienced and consistent drivers like Lewis Hamilton or Fernando Alonso. In short, the comments of Ferrari's number one seem, once again, to be mere formalities and, above all, very distant from reality. The hope is that Lewis Hamilton's signing isn't just a classic fig leaf covering completely unfounded ambitions. We say this because to win in Formula One, you first need a team capable of creating a winning project, like McLaren is proving capable of this year, despite the fact that the team led by Andrea Stella is also showing some clear limitations, such as driver management, pit stop decisions, and also some mistakes from the drivers. With the arrival of Lewis Hamilton and the reconfirmation of Charles Leclerc, Ferrari will undoubtedly have one of the best driver pairings on the grid in the 2025 Formula One Championship, if not the best. There is curiosity about how the power dynamics between the two will play out, both in qualifying and in the race. Clearly, both are hoping to have a winning car in their hands. Charles Leclerc recently explained that he is eager to test himself against the driver with the most wins, pole positions, and 7 Formula One world titles, just like Michael Schumacher. He remarked that having Lewis on the team would be incredible, and that it would be an extraordinary opportunity for him to prove what he is capable of with such a champion in the same team and car. When asked if he would be lenient with the British driver as he adjusts to his first new team in more than a decade, Charles Leclerc firmly replied that he would not. With a smile on his face, he stated that once he puts on his helmet, none of that matters anymore, and he will focus solely on his performance on the track. The Monegasque driver emphasized that in the race, you don't think about who is who and just go for it, adding that now he will be racing against Lewis Hamilton and must forget the names inside the paddock, stating this without any hint of controversy regarding his future partnership with the 7-time Formula One world champion. Despite the fact that Ferrari team principal Frédéric Vasseur is trying to stay focused on the current Formula One championship and finding those extra tenths to unlock the full potential of the SF24 car in the second part of the season, the French manager also expressed comments of appreciation towards the British champion in a recent conversation with Sky Italia. The Ferrari team boss acknowledged the positive aspects of Lewis Hamilton's arrival in Maranello, highlighting his great experience. The French manager noted that while many have claimed since the beginning of the 2024 Formula One season that George Russell is faster his Mercedes teammate, it is in fact Lewis Hamilton who has brought more points to the German side, making him a good point of reference in terms of efficiency.